As we all know, next season we are going to be getting a reprised raid. And before we go any further, I just want to ask you, which reprised raid do you want to see come back? Me personally, I believe it's got to be a D1 raid, as bringing back a Destiny 2 raid inside of Destiny 2 just makes no sense as to why they removed it in the first place. And with the current desert that is Season 21, there's not too much to do, so we're going to be looking at some leaks today. And these leaks are going to be referring to what could be the Season 22 reprised raid. These leaks are coming from people over at Bungie Leaks, who have been pretty credible in the past, but since these are leaks, none of this is confirmed. Do not take it as confirmed information. Take it with a grain of salt. Let us move forward. Your favorite Hive Knight with a sword could be returning next season, as these leaks are saying that Crota's End, the first ever raid to be soloed and solo flawless, is returning according to these leaks. Not officially, but these leaks also say that there would be some new mechanics, because let's be real, if you were there back when Crota's End released, or if you played Destiny 1 and you played Crota's End, you would know that this raid was being memed as a strike back then. Could you imagine what the Destiny 2 sandbox would do to that version of the raid? It'd be abuse. So these leaks are saying that there's going to be a new mechanic that is apparently hard to describe on viewing. I don't know what to do with that. I'm just going to read it out. And the leaks also say that there's a Riven's Heart style mechanic with passing around light while managing buff. The director in the trailer calls it hot potato. Now look, I don't know what part of the raid this could possibly be pertaining to, as the only real buffs in this raid are the fact that you have to, use a sword to cross a bridge that people skip half the time, and you have to use a sword to deal damage to the raid boss himself. This raid only ever had one boss, Crota himself. You could say Eryute, but that bitch got cheesed by a single solar grenade, so I don't count her. The first part of this raid is just a maze. The Mothway from the Lightblade strike, that little lamp section, those came from Crota, the very first encounter. So I don't really know where this passing around a light buff would even be implemented. Maybe the Crota's End fight himself, but there was always a challenge for that, so you could actually pass around a form of healing that was only for normal mode. Because if you didn't know, in the final boss fight against Crota, there is a debuff. I think it's called Crota's Presence, but it basically disabled natural healing. So the ways that people would heal would either be through the Chalice of Light that spawned in the middle of the arena, once again, only on normal mode, and you could just pass that chalice around the entire fire team, or people were using weapons such as Red Death or Source Regime. The leaks go on to further say that this new light passing buff is going to be on all encounters. Yeah, like in order for this raid to even remotely stand some sort of a fight, you're gonna have to change it up a little bit. And if these leaks are correct, they're adding an entire mechanic to all of the encounters, which personally at first glance sounds cool. You can't bring it in the way it was, or even the 390 version of the raid into Destiny 2. You just can't. It'll just get absolutely blitzed in an hour. The leaks also say that the Crota encounter itself has been changed as well, with something different with the sword. Something that made the Crota's End very unique is the fact that it was the only raid in which you dealt damage to the boss with a relic. You never tethered Crota, you just shot 2 Galahorns at him, brought him to his knee, and you hit him with a good slash and heavy attacks. Yeah, I know that Oryx and D1 only took damage from the bombs, but that's more of a mechanic. They would only ever do a set amount of damage every time you detonated them. You could never improve it. Whereas with a sword relic, you could actually improve your sword bearing abilities and really juice Crota the better you got and the higher your light level was. And the last thing that this says is that there's no confirmation on if the Necrochasm is returning, but if Crota's End is returning, I would imagine the Necrochasm would as well. Why wouldn't it? Necrochasm had a bit of a quest to it, to where you had to kill this yellow bar knight in the Cosmodrome that would drop this white version of it called the Husk of the Pit that you could then upgrade to an EDN ally, and then you had to kill Crota on hard mode and hope that he would drop yourself a Crux of Crota so that you could then use that Crux of Crota on the EDN ally and upgrade it to the Necrochasm. And after all that, it was one of the worst guns in the game. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on these leaks below, and what raid you want to return inside of Destiny 2. Like I said earlier at the beginning of the video, as long as it's a D1 raid first, I'm good with that, because they should have never removed the D2 raids to begin with. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Hope you enjoyed. You guys be safe. We'll see you in the next one.